Let me introduce you to one of my all-time favourite singer-songwriters. It's legendary Canadian Gordon Lightfoot, who tells us about his life, his regrets, and his third and current wife, Kim. Hey, Gordon Lightfoot.
Yes.
Lovely to chat with you. How are you?
I'm good.
Hey, Gordon, are you still writing songs today?
No, I had an album come out just after the pandemic started. It kind of got lost a little bit, but there's been a lot of streams on it. The single often got streamed, 700,000 times or something. It's called Oh So Sweet. It was a solo album.
Tell me just a little bit about that Oh So Sweet. That was one that you wrote. What did you write about?
Oh yeah, Oh So Sweet. Yeah, I wrote that one. About 20 years ago. All that material is, they're all side tracks. Most of it's demos.
That were never released?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of the times the demos get the feel, you never get the feel back. And there was enough of it available, and I said, my fans are going to love this. We put it out as it was, as it stood, and I like it okay. I would like to have probably done rewrites maybe on 5 or 6 of those tunes, but you would have lost the feel. It was done a long time ago. I discovered it all just by accident while moving offices 2 years ago. Half of it was lost. It would never have been seen again had I had not found it.
Really?
So the 5 of them got rescued, like cats. Like cats. They got rescued.
That's great. Well, I know your fans are very grateful for that. How do you explain how enduring your music is and how many people just love you?
I often wonder that myself, why they should actually really. If they really got to know me, they might not like me at all. I think it's something to do with the material. It's how I purport myself as an entertainer.
So they say that some of the popularity of your music is because it's so simple and it's so comfortable. It feels like an old easy chair. Is that why you think that it's stuck around so long?
Yeah, I think it actually provides comfort for some people.
I read about you that you have had a real love-hate relationship with the process of creating music.
No, I don't feel any hate at all. I only feel love. I know there's some people who probably hate me, but I never hate them back. I always forgive everybody for everything.
Do you have any regrets?
Yes, I do. Of course I have regrets. I've let's just say nobody's perfect, okay? Just leave it that way. I regret the way I have treated other people at times. I regret the way I've treated some of the women I was married to. I regret the way I've ignored my children at times, sometimes for periods of years when I was really going big and I was working seriously and heavy all through from 1970 till about 1990 for about 20 years there. We were playing about 90 shows a year. I made about 8 albums. And I didn't pay any attention to my kids while I was doing that. So I regret that because I didn't pay attention at the time. I'm paying for it now.
Have you made it up to them now?
Well, I've repented. I've repented, and I do everything I can to make up for every moment that I stole from people.
You've had an incredible career and an amazing life. I heard you used to throw the most fabulous parties. Do you miss those days?
We had parties in Toronto that you would not believe. I was really well located too. I lived in an old mansion right downtown. That was Party Central. Party Central for a lot of well-known people who came through the city. The band and Bob Dylan and Joni Mitchell, Roger McGuinn, the Byrds, Glenn Campbell. They've all been through my big house.
Do you miss those days?
Well, sometimes when I reflect on it, it's so vivid that it almost breaks my heart when I think about some of the moments that I enjoyed so much. You can remember the feeling that you had. All of a sudden it comes across your mind and it makes you start. It makes you sit up, and to say, God, how could I possibly have had that much fun?
You certainly lived life to the max.
Oh, yeah, I enjoyed it. I met lots of people, and I met lots of girls, and I got married 3 times.
You did. You liked the women.
Yeah. Well, it was all those meet and greets.
Were you always popular with the girls?
I don't know. I guess it went with the territory. I knew it was going to happen like that. I knew it when I was in high school. No more so than some of the other guys at school, but I got invited to the Sadie Hawkins dance a couple of times. As the girl invites the boy. Of course, I was a gentleman still by that point.
When did you stop becoming a gentleman?
Well, I made it through high school. I actually probably made it through my first year of music school. By that I mean I was fairly well behaved. Okay, let's put it words like that. Of course, I was married by the time I was 24.
Right. That very early song you had in 1965, For Lovin Me, that was about the demise of your first marriage, wasn't it?
I would never write a song like that again. That was brutal. In a kind of a way, you would think it would have been an insult to the woman I was married to. She was a very philosophical lady. She was European. So the song didn't bother her that much. She knew it was all in poetic license in that, which is what I was. And I was embarrassed by it, For Lovin Me. It's one of those tunes that could either be sung by a man or a woman. And I never realized that. There are songs like that. It can go both ways.
Are you a very different Gordon Lightfoot today than you were in those days?
Yeah, I am. I am because I think I say I'm in a state of repentance, and I had to give up alcohol in 1982. That is a life-changing event. I'll have a drink. Now, I was dry for 23 years. During that time, I did my last 5 albums. Well, I did one for True North locally here, too. I was coming out of recovery from some operations from a situation I had that almost killed me in 2002. I had an aortic aneurysm, put me out of business for 2.5 years.
I heard about that, but you recovered well.
Yeah, and when I came back, I put together an album and got it orchestrated. And then my very last one, which is the solo album, that would be album number 21. I probably won't make any more albums. I know that Bob Dylan had one, too, a beautiful album. I love his work.
Yeah, me too. I think he gets better with age. Do you get better with age?
Oh, you mean as I get older? As a matter of fact, I can sing them with the same way as I sang them 60 years ago. I sing them the same way. See, when I practice, I don't practice the vocal. I practice the guitar. The vocal looks after itself. The vocal always comes to me at the last minute. And it's exactly the same thing as it was when I started performing solo and as part of the folk revival. Now I don't hit some of the high notes that I used to be able to hit. Can
I ask you, Gordon, you've always loved the women. How did you know that Kim was the right one?
The first thing that happened there was I brought her with me. I took her on the road. And she turned out to be one of the best crew members I ever had.
Tell me.
I could give you a list of things without being stupid about it, but I'll tell you what you know what the best things that she does on the road for me?
What?
Of all the great things that she does, she makes sure I get fed every night at 6 p.m.
She looks after you.
She makes sure I get fed. She makes sure I get fed. That was the first thing she started doing, and she does all kinds of other stuff, and she's great to have, and she loves to travel, and she's a great person.
Gordon, which is your favorite song?
Oh, gee, there are many, many songs that I really love to play because they're easy, because they're nice, or they're toe tappers, because they're energetic, or they have forward momentum that I love to have in my songs. But I would say, If You Could Read My Mind.
That's my favorite too. What were you writing about there?
Well, I was coming to the end of my whole life has been about my roller coaster ride that I've been on.
So what do the lyrics refer to?
Yeah, it was the end of the first marriage. I don't even know why I wrote it. I didn't know I was writing it at the time. I actually never wrote anything about anything specifically. If something came into my mind while I was working on a lyric and it found its way in there through some little crack in the doorway, I'd use it. It's poetic license. They call it the curse of the songwriter.
What does that mean?
Well, it comes back to bite you because it gets heard further down the line, and people think that they were written for other people before them. They think that when you do material that you wrote like 30 years ago, you play it now today in front of your new surroundings, new wife, new everything. Sometimes resentment occurs that the song was written about an ex-wife. And I've gotten myself into that situation this time.
And Gordon, just final question. What is it that you have for your 6 o'clock dinner?
What do I eat for dinner? Okay. I don't eat meat because I don't digest it well. But we have fish and we have fowl and we have really regular stuff. I like to eat asparagus. You know, we eat well. We get it done.
Great. Gordon Lightfoot, thank you so much for chatting with me. Please stay well and healthy.
Okay. All well to everybody in Melbourne. Okay, Sandy.